Mathioli Charanam, Jainandalala, everybody. Today we're talking about how the Lord plans everything in our life. It's to reinstate that everything is pre-planned. It's like a lot of us break our heads and think about our future and that we have to do our groundwork. I'm not saying we have to sit back and relax and let the Lord do his job. No, that's not what I'm saying. We have to do what we have access to. That's all we have. We have what we see. But most of us are stressed out about things we can't see also. A lot of us are stressed about our future, which we can't see. What we have now, we do our duties that is given to us, and we proceed. Well, the truth of the whole matter is that the Lord has pre-designed everything for us. Everything is pre-planned. So I want to give an example with the Mahabharata story. It's beautifully string of events that Lord Krishna planned and how he beautifully showed us, and he kept this truth going all the way till the end. And also it reminds us, these stories, it actually reminds us the Lord introduces us to various people in our lives, why they are put there, for what reason. Some people are put there for reasons to teach us certain lessons, how to be or how not to be. We see them and we learn. Understand, we're not here to change them. We're changing ourselves. The whole process is how we can make ourselves better. We should not be going and giving advice to anybody. That's not our job. Okay. Our job is to advise ourselves. The Lord will appoint people like that who are meant to do this. So the problem is all of us become advisors. And it's a problem. It's like all of us becoming doctors, right? There's no solution. Then where do we take our time to change ourselves? It's always giving it out when we need it. And also we have to observe everybody around us. Observe their mistakes, what we can take out of it, not to judge them. Oh, so they have made that mistake, so I have to learn from that. Not to judge them. So everyone is sent in our lives for a reason. And he's watching. Ambal is watching. What we are doing with that, are we taking it as a lesson, or are we patting our back and saying, oh, I'm better than her, or I'm better than him? That is also ego, right? And also, we have to make decisions on where to be and who to mingle with and who to filter out. It's very important. In our lives, we come across people who are always gossiping, always, um, especially if you feel like you are not happy there, if you feel something is not right, it's hitting your conscience. It doesn't seem right, doesn't sit well. Move out of there. I always tell everybody, you're not a tree. You can move. You're not stuck there. Well, there are social pressures. There are social pressures as in if they move out of there, they're not going to get the limelight. They're not going to get the attention, kondatam, the praise. They get that also, and they get the dirt also. But they put up with the dirt because they get the praise. Oh, that's a lot of pressure for me. Already I'm getting a headache thinking about it, right? Why why are we attracted to praise? It's like a boost. It's such a temporary boost. And the dirt stays with us forever. The politics. When you're in a social um, atmosphere like that, you're pulled down due to politics. At the same time, praise also. Remember, praise also pulls you down. The lifting is a little very temporary. Because the same people who praise you today, they're not going to praise you tomorrow. There's another person who'll take up your spot. And you have to be ready to give it. And not everybody is. They always want to be there. So we have to analyze all these things. And the minute, our conscience always tells us, I'm not happy here, I'm not comfortable here, doesn't seem right, move away. If you feel your friend is being rude, if your friend is not being nice to other people, if your friend is talking always against others, always being nasty, rude, you don't have to remain there. You have a choice. In Mahabharata, Karna had a choice. Karna had a choice. He was a friend of Duryodhana, but he made the wrong choice. He was his friend, his very good friend, who saved him from all the insults and embarrassment, took him to a level which even he didn't imagine. Duryodhana gave him a lot, gave him an identity. So that is where the test is. The Lord is doing that to test the person, how well he can stick to his dharma, righteousness. Even if your loved one is making a mistake, are you standing against it? Against it? That is what the Lord taught Arjuna, right? The whole Bhagavad Gita is about standing against the people who are wrong. Period. Standing for truth. Not always it's easy. It could mean you're fighting against your own people. Life is not easy. There are a lot of people who have faced this and faced defeat also because they are not able to fight against their own people. That is why We are all land up to be Arjunas, right? So in this story, that's what the Lord says, right? Never take decisions emotionally. Emotionally, in the sense when you're angry, when you're sad, when you're very happy. When you're very happy, somebody can come and, you know, give you a piece of paper and say, sign this for me, and you will sign it. You would have lost your whole property there. So when you're very happy, also, you don't take decisions. When you're very sad, also, you don't take decisions. When you're angry, and when you're in a revengeful mode, also, you don't take decisions. When you're in fear, also, you don't take decisions. Any decisions taken with emotions tends to be wrong. That's when we have to close our eyes and be calm, calm our minds, and understand that the whole thing is driven by the Lord. So, at the previous session, we were talking how we need to come back to the present mode. What do we have? What do we have here? What do I have with me here? Let's start from there. So, this again, coming back to Mahabharatam, the day is the 13th day in the Mahabharata. The 13th day, all of us know, is a very sad day in Mahabharata, the war. 13th day of the Kurukshetra War. Very sad day. That's the day when Abhimanyu was killed. Abhimanyu is the son of Arjuna. He was just 16 years old. I still remember when I was a teenager, I used to watch Mahabharata every weekend. It used to come on TV, telecasted every weekend, and used to be glued on that, glued to the TV every Sunday, 1 hour. Magical it was, just taking us out of our reality and taking us all into this beautiful Lord Krishna's world. As a teenager, that's the only episode that made me cry. That was the only episode I shed tears. Because he was such a darling, that boy, 16-year-old. And that day, he was killed in such a ruthless manner. What stood out, what pained all of the viewers, even who reads that chapter, will be heavy-hearted for a long time. Because the way he was killed was against all rules of warfare. All of them who took part in that went against the rules of warfare, the ideals of warfare. Because he could not be defeated. This boy was so powerful in the battlefield. He was swift like the wind. He was powerful, majestic like the lion. They would say that he was like thousands of elephants. He's just 16, but the whole Kaurava army shivered when he entered the battlefield. So they could not defeat him by righteous means. There were so many powerful warriors on Kaurava side. Drona, I'm starting with Dronacharya, Bhishmar. He defeated all of them. One on one, they could not defeat Abhimanyu. He was like another Arjuna on the battlefield. Xerox copy of Arjuna. We can't handle one Arjuna, there is two. He was like Rama with his bow and arrow. The best of all is Lord Rama. Never, never miss his shot. And the best part was, even though he had a good shot at every one of them, he did not kill them. He defeated them, especially Drona. Even taking down Bhishma on the 10th day, he had a hand. He helped his father take down Bhishma on the bed of arrows. So all of them were planning because they knew they could not win this war if Abhimanyu was still alive. He almost came to save everyone in the Pandava army. No one was getting killed because of Abhimanyu. So they all plotted. Who? Drona. Drona, along with Ashwatthama, all of them plotted to bring Abhimanyu down. Duryodhana, all of them, all of them were there plotting to bring Abhimanyu down. So they planned a Chakravyuh. They said that is the only way we can bring down the Pandava army. And for that, Krishna and Arjuna have to be sent away from the scene. Because they both know the secret to the chakra, how to break it. So they sent somehow, Krishna and Arjuna were sent out. They diverted their attention and sent them out. And when the Chakravyuh happened, Yudhishthira was getting stressed because he knew that he would be the first target. So he went to Abhimanyu, and Abhimanyu said, "Don't worry, it's a Chakravyuh. I know about this. I can enter." Yudhishthira asks him, "You know how to get out?" That's the point. Abhimanyu says, "I don't know how to get out, but I can enter. But I have full faith in you, all you uncles of mine. You'll take care." So poor Abhimanyu enters the Chakravyuh saying that you all will take care, and he enters. He was not knowing that there is a king, Jayadratha. Jayadratha is from the Kaurava army who got a boon from Lord Shiva. He did a penance and he got a boon from Lord Shiva that he could defeat the Pandavas, 4 of the Pandava brothers. No, they cannot fight him. So this was the moment. He used that. So Arjuna was not in the list and he sent out, but the other 4 are here. So Jayadratha blocked the path inside the Chakravyuh. So when Abhimanyu entered, he blocked the path, not letting the other four Pandavas in. So Abhimanyu was caught inside, alone. Even though Abhimanyu was circled by all these great warriors, none of them could defeat him. Now we see all this Vijay movie and all, no? They are all fighting all alone. But that was Abhimanyu in real life. This is just camera trick. Vijay cannot do it alone. Abhimanyu had all these great warriors circling around him. He fought them and he defeated them. Knowing that he cannot be defeated, you should never attack a warrior from the back. Again, ideals of law, the war. This is against the ideals. You cannot attack a warrior from the back. And Karna did. They shot his chariot, then they attacked his bow. He had no bow. So he took his sword and they attacked him from the back. And so, they slashed him. They used all unfair methods to bring him down. So anybody who watches that episode and reads this chapter usually gets very saddened and disheartened. And the first question everybody asks is, why? Why Abhimanyu? He was so sweet. He was just 16. But why so brutally? Why? Why him? He was a lion. Everyone asks. And everyone obviously have to ask this question too. Why did Lord Krishna allow this? I'm sure you all are also thinking that, isn't it? Why did the Lord allow this? He should have known better. Doesn't he know? How could he just go away because someone distracted him? Do you think the Lord can be distracted? Huh? No way. The Lord cannot be distracted. That I can assure you. Well, let's roll back a little. Even before the Lord took the incarnation of Lord Krishna, his when his time had come to take that incarnation and to fight this Kurukshetra war, everything was pre-planned. That time, he had approached Lord Chandran, Lord the moon god. He said, I'll have to fight this big war. I need your son to come and help me. And who is his son? Varchas is his name. He was a great warrior. He was beautiful like the moon. And Varchas was Lord Chandra's favorite son. And the Lord was asking Varchas to come and help him. Lord Chandran said, Lord, he's my favorite. I'm not parted ways from him. I always see him. I cannot part with him. And you're calling him for this long. He said, Is 16 years okay for you? I can part with him for 16 years. After that, he has to come back to me. So Lord Narayana says, okay, so be it. We will make sure I will plan everything in a way that you get him back in 16 years. So that is why Abhimanyu had to leave the scene when he was 16. And he went back to his duties as a son of Lord Chandra. Chandra was very happy when he saw Abhimanyu being slashed. He was like, okay, my son is coming back. You see, one person's sorrow can be another person's happiness. You have to see the greater picture here. So he was born on earth to just assist Lord Krishna in this Kurukshetra war. And he did. He did. Like I said, he shook the Kaurava army. Everyone ran. Duryodhana ran. Dushasana ran. Because Bhima had said, I have to kill the main brothers. He could have easily killed them. He had a shot at them, but he just made them weaponless. And then they had no other option but to run. So all of them ran from there. When they saw Abhimanyu, they would run. He would break their chariot, would break their weapons. They had to run. So this was the scene of Abhimanyu on the battlefield. So now let's roll back a little bit. How the whole thing was structured. When Abhimanyu was in the womb of Subhadra, Subhadra is Lord Krishna's own sister. So Abhimanyu would be his nephew. And he was not an ordinary nephew, his favorite nephew. He taught him. He taught him warfare. He taught him everything, the weaponry, everything. Lord Krishna himself taught him. What a blessing to learn from the Lord himself. Now we see why he made the Kauravas run. Learning from the best, his father, the great warrior Arjuna, his uncle, the Lord himself. Can't be better, right? So when he was in the womb of Subhadra, Arjuna was casually talking to his wife, Subhadra, and explaining the war tactics. He's a warrior. What else would he know? He's explaining the war tactics to Subhadra, and he was talking about the Chakravyu, which he learned from Drona. This is the very powerful tactic. Only a few people know. He was explaining the whole thing to Subhadra. Ex he, he explained until going inside, how to break into the Chakravyu. When he was trying to explain how to come out of it, Lord Krishna knocks the door. Lord Krishna knocks the door. He says, Arjuna, what are you doing? Come out. Come on. We need to go someplace. And he tells Subhadra, I'll come back and we'll continue. And he leaves. But that never happened. That topic was never touched after that. And that is what the Lord did. Because he had to keep his promise to Lord Chandra, right? And he knew, the whole thing is going to be revealed. So he has to come and stop it. He did. So it was incomplete. The baby inside captured the whole thing. Entering the chakra view was captured, but coming out was not. Baby Abhimanyu. So that is how everything, you know, unfolded. And we see now when we track back, we see, wow. And that moment where we were sad and we were having so many questions, it's all cleared out. It's like, wow, the Lord knows what he's doing. He was not distracted. He very well knew that this was going to happen, and he just moved aside. So that was with Abhimanyu. Now King Jayadratha, Arjuna came to know that was the night, the 13th day in the army camp. There was full silence. Obviously, it's a big tragedy happened. Abhimanyu was killed. Everybody's in the camp, in the tent, mourning his death. So much silence everywhere. There was a lot of crying and mourning. Arjuna was angry. There's another plan by Lord Krishna because Arjuna was so emotional. Arjuna was so attached. Arjuna was so. He was having a lot of doubts once in a while, when he was. When he went to the war field, he had doubts. This cleared all his doubts. Now every doubt was cleared. He was like, I want to kill everybody. See, another plan of Lord Krishna. See how many things he captured with one incident. He uprooted the attachment thing in Arjuna. He was a different person that day. It was like, I want to kill everyone. That's it. Who are they? Who are those people? No one. He was fuming and he took a vow. He took a vow in anger. Again, we were talking about this, right? In anger. He said he would behead Jayadratha because he came to know Jayadratha was the one who stopped the path because Yudhishthira was revealing the whole incident and he said he stopped us. We could not defeat Jayadratha. All of us together tried defeating Jayadratha. We could not defeat him. We could not enter the Chakravyuh. We could not save Abhimanyu, was the cries from all the brothers. So Arjuna was fuming. He was like, why wasn't I there? Because he knew he could defeat Jayadratha. He was so angry with Jayadratha. He said, before sunset tomorrow, I will behead him or I will set myself on fire, he said. Now, the second part was not needed, but he said that. Again, out of anger, anything can happen, right? Anything we say. So Lord Krishna was like, oh, gosh. See, that second part was the problem. Well, Lord Krishna, with, like I said, the Lord being with them, they have no idea how much He has helped them. because he has no clue the boons Jayadratha has. Is it easy to behead him? None. Arjuna had no clue. He just said it. And who actually manifested it, who made it happen, is Lord Krishna. Well, Jayadratha's head was cut off. The way the things happened was his head was cut off. It flew up in the air. Usually when the head cut off, it just falls. This head flew up in the air and landed on Jayadratha's father's lap, who was actually doing his Sandhya prayers. And he got up startled, and the head fell down on the ground, and Jayadratha's father's head burst into thousands of pieces. Such was the chain of events. I will break it down for you. I'll make you understand. Of course, all this happened. They were back at the camp that day. There was a sign of relief that Jayadratha, whatever he vowed happened. Otherwise, Arjuna would be ashes, according to. So everybody was so relieved that Arjuna is in one piece and he's back in the camp and Jayadratha is gone. Sign of relief. But Dharma was not happy. A lot of problems with Dharma of Krishna faces. Dharma was not happy. This Dharma Putran has a lot of questions all the time. He was questioning even the epitome of Dharma. Lord Krishna always had to face him and patiently answer his questions. He was watching everything as it was happening. Dharma. As all this was unfolding, he was watching it. So in the camp, when everyone were having this relief, he said, I'm not happy. I don't approve of these events today. Whatever happened today, I don't call it just. It's not fair. We are Pandavas. We follow the truth, he says. We cannot cheat anyone and win. Then what is the difference between them and us? Cheating is what they do, not us. Dharma's giving a speech. That is our principle, he says. Telling the truth, and we are in the path of Dharma. That is our truth. That is our principle. And Bhima is confused. Bhima says, it is tit for tat, brother. What they did, we did. I don't care what we did, but we got it done, he says. They were not following the rules. And everybody agreed. Everyone there agrees to Bhima. But Yudhishthira was like, no, no, no. We are the Pandavas. We should teach them how to be. Instead, we have taken to a next level, and I don't like that, he said. That's when Krishna walks in. Just walks in. He heard the words of Dharma, and he had a smile on his face. He walks in. Dharma, you said something? You had a problem? He says. He looks at Lord Krishna and he says, well, didn't you send up your disc up in the air to make it look like it is sunset? He says, Dharma. And then Krishna is like, no, no, I would not do that. No, no, I didn't do that. So many people were there. Did they see me do that? He says. Dharma says, no, no, I think I saw you do that. You, you have done it, he says. Suddenly it was dark. And then suddenly the sun was back, he said. How can that happen? Then, then Krishna says, listen, Dharma, I'm going to tell you one thing. Arjuna, in a fit of anger, he said he's going to behead Jayadratha. That part I understand. But what is up with the second part where he said he's going to set him up on fire? That I don't understand. The hasty decision I was not for. So now I had to take it up in my own hand. He said, I had to take this up. It was disappointing what Arjuna did, but I had to take this up. So what I did was, he's telling Dharma, what I did was, I sent a message to Shaguni. And what is the message? The message is, whoever makes Jayadratha's head fall on the ground will also die because their head will burst into pieces. So this is the boon Jayadratha has. No one knows about it. The Lord knows. But he, at that time when Arjuna took that vow, he sent a message to Shakuni. Think about it. Saying that whoever kills Jayadratha and his head falls on the ground, that is, Jayadratha's head falls on the ground because of whoever killed him, the person who killed Jayadratha also, that is, who was the reason because of his head falling on the ground, their head also burst into pieces. This was crucial for Shaguni to know. You know why? Because he came to know the next day that Arjuna took a vow to kill Jayadratha. Now he will help in this process because he wants Arjuna's head to burst into pieces. Do you understand? So brilliant. So he tells Dharma. So I sent a message to Shakuni saying this. The next day, nearing the end of the fighting, the sun's rays were almost about to disappear in a short while. At that time only, he was going to say, and Dharma says, that time only you sent your disc. He says, cunningly you sent your disc and you saved Arjun. Right? He says. Krishna is like, no, Dharma, that is not what happened. Listen to it. Suddenly there was a wind. It started blowing and swirling, making the dust go up. And that's how the sun's light was covered, Dharma. It was not my disc, he said. And everyone thought it was sunset. Do you understand? Now the wind, which was swirling, it moved again when the sun was revealed, he said. So meanwhile, that is when Arjuna's arrow hit Jayadratha because Shaguni brought him out on time, he said. Shaguni brought him out of the camp saying, it's sunset, come, you're fine. You're free now, because until then they were keeping Jayadratha in the camp. So thinking it was sunset, Shaguni Mama brought Jayadratha out. And immediately Arjuna used his arrow and cut off his head, and then the sun was revealed again. Nakula then immediately he had his own doubts, asked with surprise, "My lord, I have a question. How did the head that was cut off go upwards instead of falling against gravity?" So the Lord answers, "I had told Arjuna when he cuts his head to make sure it goes up and falls at Jayadratha's father's lap." Nakula he was in a trance after that. He was like just thinking. Now let's put all these pieces together. Do you see how many things that Lord Krishna had to do to make sure that all this came in one day? How many things he had to do? Message to Shaguni and creating the sunset, dealing with Dharma, making sure the head went up and fell at the right lap. There's another question. Why Jayadratha's father's lap? Poor guy was doing his evening prayers. Why him? Could have landed up in Shaguni's lap. A lot of people will ask, right? Good question. Now, Jayadratha's father is Vridakshattra. He's also a king and very powerful. So when Jayadratha was born, a rishi, a sage, told Vridakshattra that his son will be killed in a very major, great war. That he couldn't take. So immediately the revenge thing came out, and I said, whoever is the reason for my son to be killed, and when is whoever is the reason responsible for Jayadratha's head to touch the ground, he says, will instantly be blown to pieces. Avashabame avalikund. His curse, who you know, he cursed whoever, he became that, he became victim to his own curse. See the Lord's leelas. Huh? We have to be even equipped to curse another person. Otherwise, it comes on us. Boomerang. So many pieces are stitched up in this one little chapter. I told you how everything is linked together and how the Lord is the epitome of Dharma. We get to know in this one chapter. So many key points. Beautiful, beautiful. The way things were stringed together by the Lord. He knows how Shaguni thinks. He knows how Jayadratha thinks. He knows what his father did. None of them can save anybody. So with that, well, Dharma, whether he understood it or not, the string of events happened. He had no other go but to agree with him, just like he agreed with everything else of Lord Krishna throughout the Mahabharata. He has a lot of questions, and then the Lord makes him understand it. He has no other go. All the brothers would be like, yeah, the Lord is always right. Krishna's always right. We should just go with him. And so Dharma is convinced. But poor Lord has to always explain himself and justify what he has done, literally. He cannot even tell them that this is what I did to save you. The Mahabharata has so many things to teach us in our lives, how we are saved in every situation, in our everyday life. You don't know. We don't know. That is why every time I say I have gratitude. Have gratitude to that Ambal who's always with us, saving us from so many things that are unknown to us. Just like Arjuna, he he was clueless that if he beheads Jayadratha, he would be blown to pieces too. And how the Lord beautifully saved him. And later he came to know. And that is why Arjuna and the Pandavas, all of them have so much regard for Lord Krishna. So with that, we end this beautiful story of how the Lord pre-plans everything. We don't have to stress about anything. And this episode kind of tells us that very clearly. We don't have to stress and put ourselves in too much of worries. It'll all it'll all be okay. He's got you. He's got us. Ambal has got us. Madhioli Charanam Jayanandalal.